Where we never came to agreement was on the exact mix of revenue and entitlements. That's where we fell apart. It wasn't about no revenue. A lot of the debate was about 800 billion or 1.2 trillion, but it was never an absolutist decision. The goal was to have an enforcement mechanism that would make both sides come back to the table to essentially take another shot at this type of grand bargain. Our view was it was better to force everybody back to the table, to have a degree of spending cuts in your enforcement mechanisms and revenues that would hit high-income Americans, and that would bring people back to the table. In the last several days, as we approached the potential of default, we did make a concession to agree to an enforcement mechanism that was all on the spending side. Being forced to take that concept that they wanted and pushed, we put forward what had been tried in the 20 years before, the Graham-Rudman-Hollings mechanism that was half on defense. I don't see any reason why this should not be an incentive for all sides to come back together. I mean, let's just remember, this is not a win for anyone. I mean, as the president said, you know, if the Republicans refuse to compromise, if the House Republican leadership refuses to compromise, then yes, it's possible we will just have to live with this very dumb and harmful economic policy, and we will be able to survive it as a country if our goal, if they are completely unwilling to compromise. But don't think this is a win for them. Therefore, higher defense spending, this deeply cuts defense spending. They're supposed to be for more border security. This will cut ours so much, it will be the equivalent of cutting thousands of Border Patrol agents. They say they're for long-term entitlement reform. You know how much long-term entitlement reform there is in the sequester? That would be zero. There's a 2% across the board on Medicare, and then at 10 years, it ends. So what is it that anybody is achieving from this? And it will have real harm on, it will hurt growth, it will hurt civilian military employees, about half of which are veterans. It will hurt children. So it's not a wise thing, and it's not a victory for anybody's priorities.